Do I want to be vengeful, spiteful, and manipulative to the same people that did me wrong? Yes. But am I? No. Because I am not bitter. I am just glad to get away. It was time for me to start learning and appreciating who I am. I never realized how much I put others in front of myself, family, friends, and lovers. I will soon learn that I can't expect for people to treat me how I treat others. I know that I deserve better in my life. I have put in the work, such as this book and my lessons on Facebook and now on Instagram. I have fed/gave to the poor, brought people into the truth. 2 people I know for sure. One dude, man, when I read his posts on Facebook, it's like I'm reading my own thoughts. That's how I know I am powerful. I can hold and captivate an audience. I know that I was made to be a teacher or healer like Christ. I have seen posts of my Hebrew memes that I've shared on Facebook/Instagram being spread all across the world, even in different Hebrew groups on social media. So I know that I have made an impact. I have debated the truth against people who are in religions like Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, just like Paul said. I even made an atheist see that the Most High is real. I know that I have a gift from the Most High. I might not be as big as other platforms that I believe as I do. I might not be as big as other platforms that believe as I do, but I am a force. Even though I am down here by myself, I know that I am protected, and I am never alone. I know that the Most High is with me. I had to work on myself, cleansing negative, stagnant energy out of my life and out of my home. Now don't get it twisted, my home does not stink. I'm saying this because the definition of the word stagnant. There is no unpleasant smell in my apartment. I've always kept a Glade plug-in in each wall socket, especially in my room. Plus I cook a lot and have no animals. I've always been a very clean/organized person. I clean behind the toilet, the walls, and all. I had a pretty good feng shui going on in my home, but now it was time to get me together. Like I said, I had not bought myself anything in almost 4 years. Baby, it was time to shop. So, just piggybacking off of that, side note, I do have another page. It's private. Not everybody will be able to gain access to my other page. But for the people that do gain access, when you see, and the people that I have that were on my friends list, because as of January 11th, 1/11, I had deleted pretty much everybody off of my friends list off of Instagram, and it wasn't nothing personal. Like, it was nothing personal. I just felt like I don't really interact with them, and no one was really interacting with me, so it's kind of like a, well, what are we here for type thing. And then plus I didn't know who was still working with who, you know, stalking me, relaying shit back and forth. So yeah, I just am everybody. But for the people that was on my page and the people that will gain access to my page, like when you see me unboxing my stuff, that's what all of this was. It was not me being like some cashy person. Oh, I had not bought shoes in damn near 4 years. And so, yeah, this was me filling up my closet. Like, you know, so continuing on. So the following year, 2021, I put a lot of energy into me and upgrading my appearance. I was back shopping at Guess. And Lord, now they have an app. I was on Instagram at the time, so I did enjoy unboxing. I did enjoy doing my unboxing, what I would order for me. 2021, I would start to love on myself more. I was traveling to different places like Orlando, New York, Houston, New Orleans. At this time, I was keeping Jew around to make sure he kept up his end of our phone contract. We did go to Houston together as friends. I didn't even hook up with anyone. I could have, but I was just enjoying the vibe of Houston. To be honest, I was more interested in settling down from this point on. So I'm telling you, it was real boring in the bedroom, almost non-existent. I keep letting this be known because people think because of my looks that I am a whore like them, but I'm actually not. Nope, I've always been more reserved. I'm a tease if anything. I wanted the chance at love again, and I was not going to find it by just hooking up with people. I did have fun just being in Houston. I love Houston. I love seeing black people thriving as best as they can. I like the Galleria, even though they don't have a guest store. I love the weather, I love the heat, but I hate the damn bugs and critters. Okay, now cue Erykah Badu's Didn't You Know? Because I have always said that song will be the theme song of my adult life. I love you, Erykah. So after Queen died and I came home, oh, and Erykah got the same name as my sister, one of my favorite sisters. So after Queen died and I came home, I was trying to put myself back together. I had not dealt with death that way before, and I was just trying to cope. Eventually things would get better for me as time went on, and I was right. I was off work from June of 2021 until March of 2023 on disability because of all the stress I was dealing with back home. There was a few times that I attempted to go back to work, but mentally, physically, and spiritually I was exhausted. Plus, Peeps was doing spell work on me. Queen's death really took a lot out of me, and I needed time to restore myself. I needed a break, so that's what I did. Yes, I enrolled in therapy. I know everyone likes to hear that, but I don't really promote therapy because it did not help me. I learned that it's okay that it did not help me, and just because it did not help me, that does not mean it won't be a benefit to others. Let me repeat that. Yes, I enrolled in therapy. I know everyone likes to hear that, but I don't really promote therapy because it did not help me. I learned that it's okay that it did not help me, and just because it did not help me, that does not mean it won't be a benefit to others. I am very fair in my opinion on therapy. One of them did slip up and call his previous client an idiot. After we got off the phone, I was like, I know he thinks I'm an idiot. Both of my counselors were foreigners. I had to go with what was offered, but they were better than the racist white woman who wanted me to check into a facility. I said, ma'am, you're not about to make no money off of me, and hung up the phone on her ugly ass. One of the therapists suggested I should get out more and be more social, so I called myself starting an Instagram page. Now we're skipping to 2022. I still was not dating, nor was I meeting guys. I discovered that I never had a relationship that lasted over a year. So I had taken an interest to really dive into black gay culture and learn about things that I might have turned my nose up at in the past. These were things like the barroom scene and this app called Bingo that I was unaware of. I know that I am not spelling the name of the app correctly. I'm doing that on purpose. I came across a show on the Bingo app about the ballroom scene that is on every Monday night. They will recap the ball events that occurred and tell about all the drama that occurred behind the scenes. I was here for it. Plus the host is really funny. She is really here for the shit. I always said that if she and the house father who had a show that I talked about earlier did a show together, it would be hilarious because to me, the two of them are like Martin and Pam. I never had anything against the ballroom scene. I just always felt like if I joined, I would have to dedicate a lot of energy to it. I can be lazy, and I don't really work well with others who might try to control or take advantage of me. Paying the house dues would not be a problem. It would be getting me on a plane to go anywhere because I do not like heights. I don't even ride the rides at Cedar Point or Valley Fair. So I knew that I would not fit into their world, which is okay with me because I work alone. In reference to Sophia of the Golden Girls, I work alone. I had always supported and showed love to them, even said good things about them, but that's before I really got a good glimpse of their world. I did not take into consideration Detroit's ballroom scene because it's Detroit. When I went to a CMB ball one time, I kind of came to the conclusion that whatever's going on here is probably more established in bigger cities like New York or ATL. That same night, this was in 2003 or 2004, I met Jack. I know he will not remember me at all. He snapped my picture and said that I was beautiful. That was good enough for me. I was fierce that night. I think I even had on all white, like a virgin. At that time, I didn't know who he was, but I could tell he was important just by the way everyone treated him. Also because of what he did on the mic, which I later learned that he was commentating. There was no YouTube at that time. I'm just being honest, but I knew that I did not have the personality, whether good or bad, needed in order to fit in with this part of the community. For me, it was more of the feeling that I would not gain anything positive or of value from getting into the ballroom scene or any of the gay scenes. Honestly, when I think about it, I have never really fit in anywhere. I like to read books and write stories, so at times I was kind of like, some tag along or mysterious outsider. I didn't really know what I was doing or why I was even doing it in the first place. I've never had real friends, just users, and my family is not my family, so I've always been pretty much a loner. I did not get involved with the ballroom scene because, from my interpretation, it seemed like a competition. For people to feel validated. I never felt the need to be validated for my looks because I know that I am beautiful, wonderfully made inside and out. I looked at the scene as art. I seen the potential, the hunger, the drive of these artists that were living life. The energy of it all was amazing. The fighting that occurred after the ball was not so amazing. That is what I did not like. The fighting, bullying, and predatory nature of some. The ballroom scene, also known as the ballroom community, ballroom culture, or just ballroom, is a Negro and Latino underground LGBTQIA subculture that originated in New York City. New York is the mecca of the scene, which is why you will often hear some of the New York girls say, "You're not a legend until you're a legend in New York." Today, there are other places like ATL, Philly, Carolinas, DC, and even the West Coast, Los Angeles, and places like that are pretty popular too. Beginning in the mid to late 20th century, Black and Latino drag queens began to organize their own pageants in opposition to racism. That still exists within the LGBTQIA community as a whole. Experienced and established drag queen pageant circuits. Though racially integrated for the participants, the judges of these circuits were mostly white people. While the initial establishment of ballroom mimicked these drag queen pageants, the inclusion of gay men and trans women would transform the ballroom scene into what it is today, a multitude of categories that all LGBTQIA and straight people can participate in. The ballroom culture has even found its way across the world or have become international, as some of them would say. Countries like Germany, Berlin, England, London, France, Paris, and even Japan, to name a few, have all adopted ballroom culture. From what I have seen, the ballroom overseas seems to be more peaceful and less fighting. Definitely haven't seen any tables and chairs being thrown all at one person. I also couldn't find anyone getting maced either. I think the violence in the ballroom scene here in America stems from the violence that was shown to our ancestors that were slaves in this country, who in turn passed that violence down from generation to generation. Not trying to excuse anything, but think about it. We never received the proper mental counseling after slavery, rape, and torture. I have already shown you that there have been families that were still in slavery in this country up until 1984. The images, the stories, the fear, the anger and rage, parentheses, all spirits, have never went away. Anyway, the attendees walk these categories for trophies and cash prizes. Most participants in the ballroom belong to groups known as houses, where chosen families of friends form relationships and communities separate from their families of origin, from which they may be estranged. To compete against each other, houses walk a plethora of categories at a given ball. Participants are supposed to dress according to the guidelines of the category in which they are competing. The guidelines are created by the promoters of a ball and may/may not adhere to an overall theme for the ball. There have been times where I have seen drama that went down because there were two different flyers that might have said two different things for the same category of the same ball. Sometimes I have seen two judges that don't like each other sitting on the same judges panel, so they chop each other's house members because of the grudge they have against each other. Sometimes the commentators don't count the votes right. They even have the ballroom politics, which ultimately means that the ballroom scene is not a place of equality and nothing is fair. Regardless, participants are expected to display appropriate adherence to the rules of a category. Even if you do follow the rules, you can still be disqualified. Your look could be over, but if a person says that they don't like your look or performance, they can still chop you because it's all about opinion. Balls range in scale from mini balls or kiki balls, parentheses, typically characterized by a small selection of categories. Fewer people might or might not be walking, and a runtime of 2 to 3 hours, to mainstream events, parentheses, characterized by the presence of most, if not all, categories in ballroom, a significant number of participants for each category, and a runtime exceeding 4 hours, with the largest of balls capping at 12 hours. I heard it was a ball that literally lasted 12 hours one time. Baby, ain't no way. As I digress, this is one of the reasons I do not go to balls. In parentheses, only attended 3. They take so damn long. In my opinion, today there are too many balls, making ballroom too accessible. Anyway, when a young gay person is kicked out of their home and family, they will go search for that love elsewhere. I witnessed kids as young as 12 out on the streets hanging out with backpacks on, and they weren't carrying books. The backpacks are used to carry around clothing and other things like lube and condoms if they are used. In the Black and Latino community especially, being gay can get you kicked out of the house. Many gay youth are kicked out of their families and become homeless. This is how the drugs get introduced and other very dangerous, risky behaviors. The young person will gravitate to a more older person in the gay lifestyle. They might even start living with that person or people. In the house, there is a mother role, and people will call the person, usually a transgender or very feminine male, mother. The father role is played by so-called masculine males or transgenders that might transition into a male. Their kids are mostly the young runaways they have gotten to know being in a lifestyle, usually met in a nightclub, a gay park, Palmer Park in Detroit, Humboldt Park in Chicago, and Christopher Park in Manhattan, to name a few, but these parks are all over the country. Or social media. Keep in mind that family is not supposed to have sex with each other. In these houses, anyone could be sleeping with anyone, so the roles are just for title only. Some will even pimp their so-called children out. Let me repeat. Some will even pimp their so-called children out. Not all gay parents sleep with their gay children or pimp their children out, but it does happen. Not all houses do the things listed, but some do, whether it's known or unknown. They go to war with other houses at their events called balls or the ballroom, where they compete against other houses in categories that include voguing and fashion. It is a world of make-believe with categories such as realness. The people that compete in this category attempt to allure the judges into thinking that if the contestants being judged were out in the public, could they pass as a natural gender female or masculine male? Can they tell if the transgender is really a man, or do they give the illusion of a female? Same with the gay man. If he is in public, can you tell that he is really a sissy, or does he look like a masculine man? Now, people will get mad at me for saying sissy, but then turn around and call each other the worst names. People in this community talk about each other's health so bad, even going as far as putting each other's medical records on blast on this app called Bingo. I feel like none of the gay organizations say anything in regards to the violence and bullying within the community, but they will try to cancel the straight people for their views, opinions, and freedom of speech. These gay organizations don't say anything about the violence and bullying because they like to see us, parentheses, my people, destroy ourselves. Just like when black straight people fight, the white folks love it. It gives them the chance to say, see, this is why we need laws like Jim Crow or the '94 crime bill, so they can lock us up whether we are gay or straight. They use tactics like what I just said in order to keep the heat off of them and what they have done to our ancestors, what they have systematically continued to do to us through their legal web of lies, parentheses, the government laws. That is what some black gay people don't understand. They see our color first. They know our bloodline second, and sexuality is third. It is all very silly to me in regards to the realness category I was speaking about earlier. I feel this way because I know straight men that were raised by women, so you would think that they are gay from observing them at times. Only because they might be a little feminine, but they are not gay. The feminine mannerisms are present because they were raised predominantly by women. Same with women, and how some are tomboys, but that doesn't mean that they are lesbians. Watching Paris is Burning, I got the sense that they started doing balls because the black and Latino gay people at the time were not accepted by society. It was like they knew that they would never be accepted in the real world, so they did these underground pageants to make themselves feel better. I think that feeling is no longer present within the ballroom scene of today with the younger generations of the icons that I had seen on the documentary. I do feel like the younger generation does not show a great deal of respect for the older icons and legends, but some of the older generation icons and legends can be a bit demanding at times as well. I think some of the people in the ballroom scene could could do better about how they treat each other. Stop glorifying the using of cocaine, especially on the runway. I mean, to each their own, but I agree with Tish the Body, what she said. There are a few shows called Pose and Legendary that I have never really sat down to watch, but I heard they are popular in that community. I don't watch much TV, so I couldn't tell you who is who. Hell, I'm still watching the Golden Girls. If you want a better explanation, you can watch the movie on YouTube, Paris is Burning, that gives a perfect description of houses, voguing, and the ballroom scene as a whole. To me, the ballroom scene is vanity, self-worship, idol worship, political, a bunch of hocus pocus, and a breeding ground for narcissists. The ballroom scene will either build your self-esteem or destroy it, just like with anything you might decide to get into. Houses use the ballroom scene to battle each other, which proves who can dance the best, who can dress the best, who has the realest looking men, transgender women. I don't believe that they can do anything with the trophies that they win in the different categories. If settling their beef on the floor doesn't work, then many of them will resort to using mace, fighting, shooting, and stabbing each other. They maced this innocent man, in parentheses, who was a house father that was minding his own business. He said he didn't even want to be at the ball. They even maced the icons. Baby, these young folks don't give a damn. Even in the Kiki scene, I have seen a judge get slapped in the face with a liquor bottle. Keep in mind that this scene is very political and opinionated. The people competing know this as well, but some will get mad at the judge's opinion. The judge chopped/eliminated from competition a person. That person approached the judge, which should be a big no-no, and questioned the judge on why the judge gave the chop. I guess the contestant didn't like the judge's answer, which resulted in the contestant picking up a liquor bottle, parentheses, that was snuck in by the judge that was slapped, and slapping the judge with the bottle. I hope and pray that the judge was okay. Whether liked or not, no one deserves to be hit over a vote. To be fair, there have been balls, major balls with a huge turnout, where there has been zero violence and everything was smooth.